The Secret Door Network, The Quiet Door, Chapter 15, Hidden in Plain Sight. The next few days were a whirlwind as the platform gained momentum. Invitations were quickly shared among the community, and soon users from all over were logging in, building, and exploring. The collaborative puzzle rooms filled with creators exchanging ideas. Hidden doors were multiplying across the network, and the marketplace was starting to thrive. Lina, May, and Violet watched their creation take on a life of its own. The excitement was palpable, both from the feedback they received and from the new challenges cropping up everywhere. But even as the platform grew, the cryptic message from 1-800-5194 weighed on their minds. The game continues. Those words had been replaying in Lina's head ever since they received the message. She couldn't shake the feeling that while they were expanding the platform, their 1-800-5194 was still out there, lurking within their creation, waiting for the right moment to strike with his next riddle. Late one afternoon, the trio gathered at the Brew as usual, each of them deep in thought as they monitored the network's activity. "I've been combing through the feedback," May said, glancing up from her laptop. "It's all positive. People love what we've built, but there's this one thread in the collaborative rooms that keeps catching my eye." Violet leaned forward, intrigued. "What's up with it?" May tapped a few keys, bringing up the thread. It started out like any other, users sharing ideas for a new puzzle. But then, out of nowhere, someone dropped a clue. It wasn't part of the original conversation. It was out of place. Lina frowned. "A clue? Like a riddle?" May nodded. "Exactly, and it's cryptic too. It feels like something 1-800-5194 would do." Lina's heart quickened as she read the message on the screen. "The answer is not in the code. Look where the lines meet." Violet crossed her arms, eyes narrowing. "That sounds exactly like him. But what does it mean?" Lina tilted her head, thinking. "We've been so focused on the platform's structure, the code, the encryption. What if he's telling us the answer isn't in the digital space at all?" May stared at the screen, the puzzle taking shape in her mind. "So, if it's not in the code, then where are we supposed to look? Where do the lines meet?" Violet glanced around the coffee shop, her brow furrowing. Could he be referring to something physical again, like the last time we found the symbol under the table? Lina's eyes widened, the possibility sinking in. It's not impossible. He's used the real world before to hide clues. The three of them exchanged looks, the same thought forming between them. They had been so immersed in the digital world they'd built, they hadn't considered that 1-800-5194 might be playing a different game, one that crossed between the virtual and the physical. "I think we need to start looking," Lina said, her voice steady. "Let's figure out where the lines meet." They spent the next hour scanning every inch of the Brew, the tables, the walls, even the patterns in the floor tiles. The cryptic message echoed in their minds, but nothing stood out. As they combed through the coffee shop, frustration began to mount. "We're missing something," Violet muttered, her eyes scanning the room. "It's here. I know it is." May stopped suddenly, her gaze fixed on the window by their usual table. She moved closer, studying the lines of the frame. What if it's not inside the shop? Lina and Violet turned to her, confused. "The lines," May continued, pointing to the frame of the window. "The window frames. Look at the way the lines meet at the corners." Lina stepped closer, eyes following the edge of the frame where the wooden beams intersected. "You think the clue's in the frame?" May nodded. "Maybe. Or maybe it's what's outside." They all gathered by the window, peering through the glass. Across the street, a faint symbol caught Lina's eye, barely visible, etched into the corner of a building. It was the same symbol they had found under the table, the mark of 1-800-5194. "There," Lina whispered, pointing at the building. "That's it." Violet's eyes widened. "He's left another clue." Without a second thought, the three of them grabbed their things and rushed outside. The cool evening air greeted them as they crossed the street, the symbol becoming clearer as they approached the corner of the building. It was small, barely noticeable, but unmistakable. "It's his mark," May said, her voice filled with excitement. "He's been here." Lina ran her fingers lightly over the symbol, trying to make sense of it. "There's more to this." It's not just a clue, there's something we're supposed to find. As they examined the corner of the building, they noticed a small crack in the wall just beneath the symbol. Violet knelt down, running her fingers along the edge of the crack. It's loose. She gently pried at the crack, revealing a hidden compartment behind the wall. Inside was a small, folded piece of paper. Lina's heart raced as she carefully pulled out the paper and unfolded it. Scrawled across the page was a single sentence. When the real world meets the network, the door will open. The three of them stood in stunned silence, the gravity of the message sinking in. That Violet spoke first, her voice barely a whisper. He's not just playing games anymore. He's blending the real world with the network. May's eyes flickered with realization. The lines aren't just in the code. They're everywhere. The game isn't confined to one space. Lina stared at the paper in her hands, her mind spinning with possibilities. 1-800-5194 had just raised the stakes. The network they had built was no longer just a digital playground. It was part of something much larger, something that spanned both worlds. And the door, it was just beginning to open.